Real quick before we dive into the content here, I just want to give you all a quick rundown of what you can expect from this video. And first of all, you clicked on an hour-long video, so I assume you either came here to get a bunch of value or maybe just get, a little bit of entertainment today. And I hope that this video provides you just that. Feel free to listen to this one as a podcast, or you can go down to the description and click through all the different chapters that I've left on this video. And no matter how you watch it, I just want to thank y'all for being here today. Just so y'all know though, this video is going to be basically just a culmination of all of the highlights from my best hotel credit card setup live stream that we did a few months back. And in that live, we covered a wide range of topics, including the most optimal hotel credit card strategy, at least for me personally, what new benefits I would like to see on future credit cards, whether or not I'll be personally applying for the Wells Fargo Autograph Journey card, my favorite transfer partners in the entire credit card game, and much more. So I hope that through this video, you'll be able to see in a more casual setting how I think about the questions that y'all ask me. And the last thing I want to note before jumping in here is that since this live did happen a few months ago, a little bit of the information could be outdated, but I did my best to make sure that I added text on screen to correct and update that information. So if you're listening to this as a podcast, just be aware of that. With all that being said, go ahead and sit back, relax, and enjoy this one. First question of the day, which came from one of our members, but also Stan the Credit Frog, who I'm sure a lot of y'all know by now, puts out amazing content and is just continuing to grow for very good reason. He's one of my favorite creators, so if you haven't checked him out, definitely do that. But this was kind of like the main, I guess, the way I packaged this entire live stream together, the big question I wanted to answer today. And basically what he said is his challenge for me was to build a 3 to 5 card setup that maximizes hotel benefits. And I could interpret that however I wanted to. So this is a very interesting one, and I could go so many different ways with it. I think a lot of people, and I might have even seen it in the comments, are just like, well, to maximize your hotel benefits, just basically add all of the highest annual fee hotel credit cards. And while I do think that that is a logical approach to this, I also wanted to make it like realistic and as to what I would do with my credit card setup. Like, I don't need all of the luxury hotel credit cards out there. I say that, but I might include a couple of those in my answer here. But in reality, I don't think that you need the highest status with each hotel chain. I'd probably rather nail it down to 1 or 2. It would kind of be the way I'm going to go about this. And Stan, I think it's a perfect person to be asking this question, because the way that I'm going to go about this is saying that I would like to, 1, really nail down my Marriott cards. And that is, I mean, one of your most popular videos, one of my favorite videos I've seen in the credit card space, very detailed about how to basically maximize your hotel benefits or your Marriott benefits with the Marriott credit cards. I don't know if I would do the full like luxury route or whatever you called it, I guess the premium route or the expensive route. I think I might only get a couple of their cards. And you can see that I've actually like lived by this, considering that my first hotel credit card ever was the Marriott Bonvoy Boundless. So I'm already working towards that Ritz card and would like to basically continue down that path. So I guess to answer this question, the first one would be the Marriott Boundless. That gives me a 35,000 point free night certificate every single year after the first year. And obviously I'm not going to go like super in depth on these cards right here because we got a lot of questions to get through, but I would definitely recommend checking out Stan's video on that. It's great. And that's basically what I'm following for my entire strategy with Marriott. But I would then eventually product change this one to the Ritz-Carlton card. That bumps me up to an 85K free night certificate. And then I could also add the Marriott Bonvoy Brilliant and the Marriott Business credit card on Amex's side. I guess basically back to back if I understand the strategy correctly. And that way I could lock in those bonuses, but also get a 35K point free night certificate with the business and another 85K point free night certificate with the Brilliant card. And then eventually, if I wanted to, I could downgrade from that Brilliant to like the $95 annual fee one that they have with Amex. I think, Stan, you talked more about that in that video. That seems like a pretty optimal approach. But also, if I wanted to like really nail down my Marriott strategy, it makes sense to have more free night certificates. So that would probably be the route that I went on that side. So I guess that's 3 cards technically, but I did product change the Boundless to the Ritz-Carlton. So 2 very expensive cards in the Ritz and the Brilliant card, and then the business version as well. And that would give me 3 free nights with Marriott. And then you might be thinking, okay, well, that's a 3 card setup, but don't you really like Hyatt? Don't you maybe want to get the Aspire because it's like the best hotel credit card out there? And my answer to that would be, yes, I do really like Hyatt, but if I'm trying to like really maximize hotel benefits, the Hyatt card's not going to really push the needle very much. I mean, like I do get that like 15K point free night certificate or whatever, the 1 night free at a category 4 or lower. But they did just, I think, change the categories again with Hyatt, and they lowered a lot more of their properties, or I guess raised the amount of points that you have to use to book those properties, which made them less valuable. So that's annoying. But either way, I don't think that the Hyatt card would really move the needle here. And I would honestly rather use like my Chase Sapphire Reserve for any Hyatt stays, because the Chase Sapphire Reserve in combination with all of the ink cards that I like to add, the business version, of Chase's cards. I mean, I could lock in a 90,000 point offer with a Chase Ink card and transfer those points over to Hyatt with my Chase Sapphire Reserve, or the preferred if you have that, so that cheaper approach to doing this. And that effectively gives me way more free nights than I would ever get by just using the World of Hyatt card. Even if I spent like $15,000, multiple times on the Hyatt card every year to lock in more free nights, I just don't think it wouldn't even compare, with one ink card sign up bonus. So that's kind of the route that I would go. Instead of the Hyatt card, I'd maybe just bring in a Chase Sapphire Preferred or Reserve, so I could be filtering my Chase points to Hyatt instead. And then I think that's actually all of them. That was kind of the main thing I wanted to talk about. The Hilton Aspire, though, I feel like the Hilton status, it's the easiest one to get, so it's got to be one of the more less powerful ones. Maybe some of y'all are going to hate me for saying that, I'm sure. But yeah, I feel like everybody can get the Aspire card and everybody can get really high status, get diamond status with Hilton. So that status hunting game with them doesn't really appeal to me as much as a Marriott or a Hyatt, for example. I don't know if I'll ever stay enough at Hyatt to really ever maintain Globalist. So that's why the Marriott cards in this situation are going to be the ones that I focus on the most. Well, first of all, Dalton, congrats on your first Chase card. That's pretty awesome. You know that I like Chase cards. I think they're the best for beginners or intermediates alike, at least for the majority of the people that are just casual users of credit cards especially. But that's awesome. Yeah, $9,000 credit limit for your first Chase card seems pretty good. I think I did the student card first, so I got a $2,000 limit. And then the Freedom Unlimited, I still only have a $4,300 limit or something like that. So you're doing much better than me. And a good bonus right now, so that's huge. The Bonvoy Brilliant does have a really nice 185,000 point welcome offer on it as of today, at least that I heard about. And I think I have all the hotel cards linked down below if you want to look through some of the popular ones right now and in line with this video topic. But yeah, that's a great offer if y'all are able to get that. I'm not, because I got the Boundless card in September of 2023. So I'm not eligible for a bonus on a Amex Marriott card for another, whatever this is, 6 months or something like that. Hilton Gold status, $50 a day, very underpowered. Yeah, that's why personally, I do want the Hilton Business. But I guess for that first question, I was more trying to think of a core setup that if I just wanted to focus on a few, I could do. But I could just, add in the Hilton Business as long as they keep that gold status on it. And that's going to be my access to Hilton. That's probably all I'm going to want for now. Next member's question came from Matt Glosson that I've been talking about already here. And he asked, what other American Express cards do you see getting changes this year and how impactful will they be? So I think that the one that I feel pretty confident will eventually happen, as long as Amex is still trending in the same direction and doesn't start flipping what they've been doing so far, is that I do believe that they're going to add the same family language to the Hilton cards that they've added to the Delta cards, that they've added to the Amex Gold, I guess the Amex Charge cards. I do think that that's bound to happen at some point, hence why I've held off on adding any Hilton cards, even when the personal ones do have high offers, because I could go for the Hilton Aspire whenever, and I do eventually maybe want to have that card in my setup, and especially when that bonus is in the 150,000 plus range, yeah, that's pretty nice. But I have a feeling that I'm going to do that, and then a couple months later, they're going to add the family language, and I'm locked out of all of the previous Hilton personal card versions, or I guess the lower tier cards being the Hilton Honors, no annual fee, and the Hilton Surpass card. So that's one I'm pretty confident on. Obviously, I don't know. I don't talk to the Amex or Hilton or anybody, but it would just make sense that they keep trending in that direction. I don't know what the heck they're doing with that Hilton Business card, but they've taken away a lot of the earning categories and stuff. So far, they haven't changed the design of it, so I'm sure they're still working on it. I don't know what they're going to do with it. It's kind of scaring me to the point where I'm are they going to even, have Hilton Gold status on it anymore? They kind of just seem to be nerfing it into the ground. But I would be fine if they just did the same thing they did with the Surpass, added some Hilton specific credits, took away the airport lounge access, that kind of stuff. That all seemed fine to me and actually made it a more viable option for myself. And I want the business card literally only for that Hilton Gold status, really. I don't know. But I do see they're going to change that one at some point. We're not going to know if it's for better or for worse, but so far it's been for worse. And then the family language with those cards. But what do y'all think about that? I thought about kind of talking a lot more about Amex in this video. I'm not really feeling good about any of their cards at the moment. Literally the only one that I actually want is the Hilton Business card, but I'm waiting on applying for it because I don't want them to deny me because they're making these changes, and I also want to see what the changes are before I apply for it, especially considering they're taking away earning categories right now and not making it any better. I know family language is coming to the Hilton cards. Luckily, I have the Honors right now. I'm waiting on the Hilton Business. Other Amex cards, I'll wait. It sounds like we have the exact same approach. If I was well under 524, I'd be going for I'd be starting that Hilton carousel thing that I've talked about in the past with starting with the Hilton Honors card. But yeah, I'm just stuck at 524. So it is what it is. I think it's best to start with the no annual fee Hilton card, then get the others and look for upgrade offers. Yeah. That's exactly how you should be doing it for sure. Technically, you don't have to right now. So that's the weird thing is you don't have to because they don't have the family language. but I think they're going to add that. So I would preemptively avoid adding the highest tier ones. That's just me though. Yeah, Luke, I would apply now for the $95 annual fee because when it goes up, you'll get the deal. That is a true point. I feel like the most logical thing for them to do is to make it basically exactly the same as the Surpass, maybe just changing some of the credits to business specific credits. And I mean, you are not wrong though, because if the only reason I'm applying is for the Hilton Gold status really, then I'd rather lock that in now. So it's not a bad idea. And I guess I could go for it. I just know that I've talked to people in the past who have applied for like the Hilton Aspire, for example, right before they changed it, and they denied them because of that, really, like because they were making the changes and didn't want to approve them for it. So I've been like, any day now I expect them to change that card, but they haven't. So we'll see. But that you're not wrong. That's probably the smartest approach, at least savings wise. If you could have one card have free authorized users, which would it be? I mean, I think the logical answer would have to be the Amex Platinum, right? Just from a strictly money perspective, savings perspective. But I don't need the Platinum personally, so not right now at least, but eventually I will add it. Want to cancel my Chase Marriott Boundless. I received a free night in September. Would it be clawed back due to that? I canceled before the annual fee is due in March. So you can, with most every credit card out there, at least all the ones that I know of, especially like with Chase, the annual fee can post and you have 30 days to cancel it and they'll give you that money back. So because it's not actually being taken out of your account, it's a credit card. So they add it to your bill, but they can take it off or whatever if you want to close it. So the real optimal approach would be like before you cancel it, use that free night or like book that free night, I guess, before you close the card, and then you can close it and get the annual fee back. So you can wait, but maybe somebody else has different experience, but that's what I would do. James, someone probably already, Matt already answered this for you. Yeah, no, decline credit card applications will not play into 524. It's only personal credit cards that you've been approved for in the past 24 months. That's another benefit, Stan, that if they remove that $15,000 free night award, again, I'm not applying for it for that, so it would not affect me at all. But for people that are using it for that purpose, that would definitely suck. Dalton, that's a good question. Do I think that them bringing back the metal Ritz card means that they're gonna make it public? I kind of hope not. I kind of like the secrecy of it, but I mean, I'm gonna product change in September, assuming all goes right. So I kind of hope that it just stays good. That is a fair point though. Like maybe you could just wait until they make it public. I don't know. If we wait, it's kind of like waiting on the government, right? Like if you're waiting on them to solve your problems, you're gonna be waiting a long time. So that depends. You could start your clock now, and if they don't make the change, if they make the changes within the year, at least you got started on it. David, I actually talked about this in my video. I guess it's supposed to be coming out Sunday, assuming all goes well. But you're saying that you recently got the Sabre 1 and want to get the Venture X. Do you basically have to wait the full 6 months for the Capital One 1 in 6 rule? I've read a lot of data points on this, and it's seemingly that 1 in 6 rule, only one card with them every 6 months, is seemingly not a hard rule anymore. And it's more of like a maybe 1 in 90 day rule is what I've been reading. But even that's like a soft rule. So I can't say for sure that you're going to be able to get approved within 3 months, but I don't think it's mandatory to wait 6 these days. The 1 in 6 rule does not seem to be as strong as it used to be. Take that for what it's worth. But there are a ton of data points either through the Discord that I run with Mark Plymel or just Reddit really. So you can check there too. Tony, you're saying you have a bunch of Capital One points on your Venture X and you don't know who to transfer out to. There's a lot of really good transfer partners. You're mainly going to get the best bang for your buck, especially with Capital One's transfer partners with the, airlines. And those airlines are going to be the international airlines. Whether or not you want to use the points transferred out to those airlines, like say British Airways, for example, and book American Airlines flights, domestic flights with those points, you can do something like that, or you can actually use them for international trips. And that's where you're going to really get the most value. But hopefully someone else can give you a more specific answer. Luke just kind of confirmed what I was saying, but in a much more succinct way. But yeah, the international business class flights, like I used to go to Croatia, I booked a flight with Air France. I used Amex points, but Air France is also a Capital One transfer partner. I'm pretty positive. And I got like a 3.74 cent per point redemption for one way. I thought it was just very easy to do too. And I could have done much better. Me and Luke looked at a different trip together a long time ago, and it was even better than that. And I just had to use like 12,000 points or something crazy. So yeah, I'd keep an eye out on those. Next question comes from Caesar Joel. He said that Capital One recently bought Discover for $35 billion. Your opinion on that topic? I'm not like super big on the news stuff. That's why I rely on my boy Matt Clausen for all of the news topics, who is in the chat right now. Y'all should go check him out. My main opinion on it, like I actually got a question in our members. We do members only Q&As every other week basically right now. And I talked about that in our most recent one as well. But my general consensus was that one, it could be a play on the whole Durbin bill thing. That's what Woodsy was asking about, like if I thought that was what they were doing, Woodsy's another member of the channel who I don't think is in here today, but he's a great dude, and you've probably seen him out here in the comments somewhere. But he was asking if I thought it was about like maybe a play on the Durbin bill being that whole like basically wiping of credit card rewards because they want to open up, or I guess force companies to offer different payment processors so that technically the transaction fees are lower. But in my opinion, I don't think that's going to actually help anybody. That's just me. But so I think it could be a play on that for one, but I honestly think that it's just a smart move in general because they're buying basically a payment processor, which is huge, especially not only for a credit card company, but for a bank as well. Like to own Discover being a big payment processor is huge. Again, could play into the Durbin bill payment processor stuff, but either way, I think it's a good move for them. And it also kind of like solidifies them as being like the subprime like king, basically, because Capital One and Discover are both subprime. We think of them a lot in a lot of cases as having subprime cards, or not, maybe not subprime's the right word, but beginner focused cards and stuff like that. So to not only have their cards be like that, but own Discover, who also, you know, has that target audience, like they're going to accumulate a lot of data from this purchase and be able to make even better, you know, business decisions for themselves. So I think it was a good move by them. But yeah, how much it plays into like the Durbin bill and stuff, I couldn't say for sure. Venture X on the Discover network, not sure if that's better. That is true. So see, I don't know about this though. Like, are they planning on putting all of their cards on the Discover network? Are they planning on keeping some of them with Visa? I guess I don't know about that. I probably should have read up more on this, but Stan, at least maybe you could let me know. Okay, well, Michael was saying here, like, I feel like they'd only put their cashback cards, Quicksilver, Saver One on Discover. Yeah, I think I would agree with this if they haven't stated that they want to do that, because Discover doesn't have like those, you know, Visa Infinite coverages and stuff like that. So that would make the Venture X like trash, basically, which I do honestly in my video again on Sunday. I do have a feeling that the Venture X is eventually going to become pretty garbo, but that might be a hot take, but maybe this is the start of it. Yeah, Jake, that is true. Maybe this actually would be a good thing for that. Like if they somehow use Discover's customer service for their beginner cards and stuff like that. I will say that Capital One's customer service on the Venture X at least is really good. So take that for what it's worth. Again, that's why I would hope they wouldn't move the Venture X to Discover payment processor, but I don't think they would. All right, next question comes from Jerome. He said, have you gotten into the MS side of things much? So, well, I will say off the rip that I would not recommend that you do anything like that. I mean, obviously I couldn't ever say that as having a platform like this, but no, I wouldn't recommend you do that. You run the risk of getting all of your cards shut down or getting blacklisted by companies. So it's not worth the risk for me. But then you asked, any deviation from optimal strategy for a once-in-a-lifetime trip like a honeymoon? Here, would you burn a 524 slot on something like the Aspire or Brilliant in anticipation? I'm 424 for reference, but have no problems leaving Chase for a while, except I'm already on the Amex naughty list, pop-up jail last application for Hilton Business. So yeah, I do think for one, the answer would be yes, that you deviating from your normal or optimal strategy or whatever, in the case of like hunting a specific welcome bonus for a card that's going to help you book a free hotel for your honeymoon or a free flight, like I do think that makes sense. You don't want to just do it though without realizing what the consequences of that are. Like if you're really trying to keep your 524 status down and you're like, well, I need points to get to the, you know, this destination. So I'm going to add 3 different credit cards to my setup and now I can't get a Chase card for another 2 years. Like that wouldn't be the best. But if you can like manage it a little like semi-optimally, I think that's the way to go about it. Let me see what else you asked. Would burning a 524 slot on something like the Aspire or Brilliant in anticipation basically make sense? I mean, I would say yeah, I would. Again, it's the same kind of thing. It's like if it's one 524 slot, that's one thing. If you're going to burn multiple, that's another. But if you know that, for example, you're going to fall back under 524 in 4 months from now, then adding that card really doesn't make a difference for you. If it's going to be 2 years from now and adding that's going to lock you out for 2 years, you know, maybe that's a different situation. But at the same time, you don't need to have all of your 524 slots open. You can get a ton of other cards out there that are super powerful, but it is good to manage those at least, again, semi-optimally. You're asking about your credit score being dinged after opening a new credit card. I've seen that within like 1 or 2 months, mine will recover pretty quickly because it's just a hard inquiry and the new account that lowers your average age of accounts. But now you have a higher credit limit, which increases your overall credit limit, or you have a new credit limit that increases your overall, which means that your utilization is lower and you have another card adding to your history. So over time, it raises past what it was before, and it might take a couple months, a couple billing cycles, but usually not too bad. Yeah, Michael, this is one thing about pop-up jail. Going back to that conversation, it does work sometimes if you don't go through a referral, but usually that means that you're taking a lower welcome offer, which is annoying. If they're the same welcome offer, then I would definitely try that approach and try it in incognito and try it in all that stuff. But pop-up jail is just one of those things that they've been annoying with, and you generally just have to wait and put spend on your Amex cards Just make sure you're not ever applying for Amex cards only for the bonus, or you're going to get put in pop-up jail. You just got to expect it. And then we can't complain if we do. Like, that's kind of what happened to me a little bit, and I take it on the chin. Oh, David, this may be about your pre-approval. I think that should have been the answer that I gave. Yeah, just check their pre-approval tool in a couple months and see if you can maybe get through before the 6-month rule. That's definitely the right answer. So if someone said that, that's smart. Phil Mo coming in with a donation, $5.24. Fall below 524 tomorrow. Won't be able to sleep tonight. Like points and miles Christmas. Well, that's pretty exciting. Are you doing like you're falling under 524 because it's exactly 2 years since that last card, or did you wait like the full month? Oh, dumb question. It's a leap year, so I guess you did wait the full like extra month after the card officially fell off just to be safe, which is smart. What card are you going to go for though? That's what I want to know. But yeah, that's super exciting that those days that I fall under, that's what happened with me with the Chase Ink Unlimited and Built MasterCard. I fell under, like that day, the same thing you're going through. And that day that I did, I applied for 2 new credit cards and got approved for both. That was a fun experience for a credit card enthusiast like myself. But thank you so much for the donation. That means a ton. Scott was asking what is pop-up jail? Pop-up jail is whenever you apply for an Amex credit card, and whenever you do so, a little window is going to pop up saying that you can get approved for the card, but you are not eligible for the welcome offer. So that generally means you should not apply for the card, because the welcome offer is a massive benefit of getting a credit card. Usually the most value you're going to get like ever from the card, really, unless you keep it open for a really long time. And with Amex, you only get 1 welcome offer on each card over your lifetime, technically. Maybe that means 7 to 10 years or whatever. But basically, it's very important to get Amex bonuses. And if you get pop-up jailed, even if you go through with the application and didn't get the bonus, you're still not eligible for it at a later date. So you don't want to jump the gun. There we go, Phil. Inks. That's what I love to hear. That's probably what I should be doing once I fall back under 524, get another Chase Ink card. If I have enough spend for it, I really do want to add the Chase Ink Preferred at some point. I didn't add that to my roadmap video because I generally don't have that much spend, but I could prepay my rent or something like that, which is what I had to do for other bonuses as well. But then that makes the Built MasterCard not usable for that time frame. So I've also had an issue with the Built MasterCard. This is annoying me. It's actually not with the Built MasterCard. I shouldn't have said it like that. It's with my rental company. For whatever reason, they don't recognize Built's, like, I guess you call it like a bank account, like the little ACH numbers, like the routing number and account number they give you. They aren't recognizing it because it's not like a big bank, like it's not a Chase or Wells Fargo or whatever. I haven't been able to link my rent basically, and that's been really annoying, but I prepaid a couple months, so I should be all right. JR, yep, I got plenty of cards videos on my channel about other cards. I have a bunch of playlists you can scroll through if you want to check those out. Paying your taxes. Vincent, that's probably what I should do, but I won't be under 524 in time. I did not plan that accordingly, but I could do it for like a different business card. So requesting a credit limit increase on Chase. No, it does not count towards 524. 524 only applies to personal credit cards that you've been approved for in the past 24 months. So no other inquiries matter or anything. And they don't even give you an inquiry for a credit limit increase anymore with Chase. Joshua talking about Built, the bracket thing for rent day just closed. What won on that? I guess I could pull it up, but y'all probably would get to it quicker than me. Built rewards. Does it say up here? Dude, the 1,000 points for linking a credit card or debit card won? What is that? If y'all know who I'm talking about, I'm scrolling through I wonder if you can see this. Oh, that didn't make it any better. Basically, you got 1,000 points for linking a credit or debit card to your Built account. I don't know why 5X at grocery stores didn't win. I guess people have grocery store cards, but I voted on that. Voted for the 1,000. Groceries capped at 2,000. You end up with the same points either way. Did I read this wrong? Oh, it's up to 2,000 points. Oh, never mind. Y'all are right. I should have done that. I did not read the terms. Yeah, that makes way more sense. I thought that they were uncapped. I have my main setup done with Capital One. Other than CSP, any other cards you recommend? Well, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to just like give you a straight up recommendation. The Hilton Aspire United Club card. I'm personally not a fan as much of of airline cards as I am hotel cards. We were talking about this earlier though. The Hilton Aspire, if you don't have any other Hilton cards, is a risky one to add right now, considering they may add the family language to the Hilton cards, meaning that you might not be able to get the bonuses on the lower tier cards if you go straight for the Aspire. They haven't added that yet, but it's a possibility. So if you don't want any other Hilton cards and just the Aspire, that doesn't affect you. But if I had to choose between those two, I'd pick the Hilton Aspire. You'll get a lot more bang for your buck. Unless you literally always fly United and you're flying very frequently, then maybe the United Club makes sense. Yeah, as for giving you any other recommendations, you said the CSP, that'd be one because you have the Freedom Unlimited, so that makes sense. Amex Gold, Venture X, all those you still have ability to transfer out to partners, so you don't need anything to complete those setups. You could always consider like the Sabre one since you have the Venture X. That's an option. But Monty, one of my biggest supporters as of late. I appreciate all of your comments on all of my videos. It does mean a ton to me. But you said to brainstorm a credit card benefit that doesn't exist on any card currently, but realistically can be offered that you'd be excited for. Ooh, I should have thought about this a lot more. I forgot that you asked this question. Let's see, what do cards not have that I would really like? That is a great question. Somebody start spamming some ideas in here. I know some of y'all got them. Brainstorm a credit card benefit that doesn't exist on any card currently, but can realistically be offered. Yeah, I don't know what, if I could pick any benefits. The main ones that I like a lot these days are going to be like either free night certificates with hotel cards or airport lounge access with my travel cards. They already have a lot of the travel stuff covered. Dude, I honestly don't know the answer to that. There we go. 5x on V-Bucks. That was probably the one we needed right there. Yeah, let me think though. Is there anything that like I spend money on a lot that I wish they did better at? We got rent now with Built. That's pretty huge. Man, I don't know. $240 Uber credit annual. Dude, actually, this reminded me of one that I think would be pretty cool. Free car if you spend more than $250 a month. There you go. The ability to change between points or cashback, you can only change once per month. Well, with a lot of lenders, like, well, not maybe a lot, but Chase and Citi, for example, the points are also, you could redeem for cashback at a solid rate. So you could do that already, I guess, with them. But that would be kind of a fun like game to play with it, I guess. Fee reimbursement for places that charge fees when using a credit card. Car payment. Yep, there we go. That's a good one. That is a good one. I spend a good amount of money on car payment. The one issue though is that a lot of times it's not the credit cards that are the issue. It's actually like the people that you have the loan from or whatever. Like I'm not able to pay, like my loan is through like a local credit union, but they will not accept credit cards. So that screws me already. But yeah, that's a great answer. Or like even just like insurance, like car insurance and stuff like that. Insurance would be a good earning category. But yeah, going back to this, Stan. So if Amex would get rid of the monthly part of their credits, I think that would be sick. Their cards would be much better if they would get rid of the monthly aspect of them. Mortgages, yeah, I thought about that. I mean, I assume that Bill's going to be adding that. So I guess I could say that now. It could have been a cop-out answer for me because that was the first one I came up with is like, yeah, we have rent covered, but not mortgages. But theoretically, Bill should be adding that. Ooh, Don Kim. That's a good one. I know Chad's talked to me about this specifically, but yeah, daycare is a very expensive thing or can become very expensive, especially with the more kids that you have. So yeah, that would be a great category, like a child care or something like that. Even like a health category in general or something. Like, I don't know how that would really work, but yeah, that's a smart one. Student loan payment. Student loan payments. Yeah, that's a good one as well. Yeah, any kind of like loan payments would be great, but 3% cap. Yeah, that is true, Scott, that a lot of the companies like have specific cards with them, like AAA, I guess. Yeah, they're insurance, right? But they have stuff over there, cards over there that are actually pretty good. Let me answer a couple questions. Do you know if I can have more than Priority Pass? Let's say I have Amex Platinum and I will get Ritz-Carlton. So yeah, you're going to get, the way that's worked for me, like I have the Venture X and the Chase Sapphire Reserve. I get 2 different cards and they have different accesses because the Chase Sapphire Reserve gives me access to the spas and restaurants, but the Venture X doesn't. So I just always use my Chase Sapphire Reserve Priority Pass account. It's not going to do anything special for you. They just give you 2 separate accounts for it. I have Chase Trifecta, Chase Sapphire Reserve. Yep. Would you recommend next to stay in the Chase ecosystem? If you want to stay in the Chase ecosystem, then your best bets on the hotel side are going to be either Hyatt, the Hyatt card, or the Marriott Boundless would be what I would start with. Depends on which hotels you stay at the most. That'd be a route to go. Or if you did like really want an airline card, which again, I would prefer a hotel card over an airline card personally. But like they have the Southwest and United cards with Chase. I would get a Southwest one because that's what I fly with the most. But if you flew a lot with United, you might want one of their cards. Ritz-Carlton has the same priority pass as the Sapphire Reserve with higher occupancy everywhere. Is what you meant to say. Yeah. It's a great priority pass access. That's what I'll be probably switching to again, unless I probably won't even need the I could just use my Sapphire Reserve. Oh, yeah, IHG Premier. Good call, Matt. If you like IHG properties, that Premier card is great also. Michael asking, why not get all the Inc. bonuses? Oh, yeah, I guess your name has LLC in it. Yeah, I would definitely look at the Chase Inc. cards for sure. If you don't want a hotel or airline card, the Inc. cards, the bonuses on their free cards are insane if you can hit those spending requirements. For all the mainstream credit cards advertised, what is the card you feel is best for families to get and the one to stay away from? I will say this. If you are somebody that really wants to travel with your family and values airport lounge access and hopefully have Capital One lounges at your home airport, which is it's not very likely, but the Venture X is going to give you the best bang for your buck for airport lounge access for families because you can add up to 4 free authorized users who each get their own priority pass. You can bring 2 guests and every other authorized user can also bring 2 guests, Plaza Premium and Capital One lounges. So that's definitely the best family card for airport lounge access, I would say. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I would think. But yeah, like if you're somebody that like already has like Chase credit cards, for example, then the preferred is also a great choice just because you can get those points out and make them stretch a lot farther with transfer partners like Hyatt. Wants to stay away from, honestly, these days, like the Platinum card is not a great one to have with a family because the authorized user cost is what, $195 per user? Like that's a lot. So if you want to get them all into lounges and stuff like that, it's going to cost you a pretty penny. While with the Venture X, you pay $395 for one of the cards and everybody can get access. So it all depends. Like I can't say for sure which one's great for you or not, but that would be kind of the way that I went about it personally. Have I seen the Amex Gold 90K offer around lately? I put in the other day, I was like checking my referral links to make sure that they were working or whatever. And I went through an incognito window and I got a special targeted offer for the gold card through my link. I don't know what that offer was. And I probably would have remembered if it was 90K. So I assume it wasn't, but I think they do have some elevated offers floating around. Venture X for families. Heck yeah. Do I think that Capital One will increase the annual fee on the Venture X soon? And if so, how do you think they'll compensate? Yeah, I'm going to talk about this more on Sunday. I do think that they're going to raise the annual fee on it eventually. And I think they're going to make this card continually worse rather than better. So I feel like eventually it's not going to be that great of a card. Like for example, the 4 free authorized users, they really don't have any reason to keep that. They could get rid of that and still be in line with the competition. Eventually it's going to make less sense to get, but for now it's like, well, it's as good as it is. It's really easy to get positive value from it. So why not capitalize on it in the meantime? I don't know if the Ritz card's going away. We talked about this a little bit earlier. Also, I like your profile pic. That's in New York City, right? They like made the card design better recently, so that would not make sense for them to then get rid of the card. People are wondering if they might make it public, actually. So maybe they do that. I don't think they'll get rid of it right now, but if they do, I hope it's after September because I want a product change to it first. Michael, yeah, we did talk about the World of Hyatt devaluations a little bit, at least just covered that they happened, I guess, but I haven't looked into all of the properties, so I don't know which ones are, maybe that would affect me or anything, but yeah, it does just suck. That's just kind of to be expected though with every hotel and airline over time. They're just going to continue to devalue their stuff, which sucks, but it is what it is. Hot take, if they increase the annual fee on the Venture X, they probably won't add anything significant to justify it. I agree. I think they're going to keep nerfing this card into the ground, but that's me. I don't know that. You just got the Marriott Bonvoy Boundless about a month ago and want to add the business credit card. You have to wait, 24 months before you apply for the business because you got to chase Marriott card, and to then get approved for an Amex one, you have to wait at least a year. What's wrong with the Amex Surpass card? I don't know if someone was talking about this anywhere else, but I haven't said anything. I actually think that the changes to the Surpass were better for somebody like me because I could actually use like the Hilton credits more than like the airport lounge access and stuff it gave. But granted, I don't want them to raise the annual fee, so that sucks no matter what. But I would not say that they're bad. Dalton, what transfer partners, multipliers, and perks and benefits would you want to see with the rumored Wells Fargo Autograph Journey card? And is it a card that you would consider since it might be similar to the built card with same possible transfer partners? So I guess my answer would be that the transfer partners, I would like them to match builds. I don't think they're going to do that. I think that we're going to be disappointed by this card if I'm being completely honest with you. As for the multipliers, it sounds like it's just going to be the same as the normal Wells Fargo autograph, at least the last Matt Clausen video I watched about him. So I'd rather it be different, but I guess that means that they're going to change the normal version or get rid of it or whatever. I wish they wouldn't add an annual fee to it, but with transfer partners, that makes sense. A $95 annual fee is not bad. Perks and benefits. I mean, honestly, if they added good transfer partners, the perks and benefits would matter a lot less because they would already be like the Chase Sapphire Preferred, for example, is not really there for the perks and benefits. It's mainly there for the ability to transfer out to partners. So if you could combine your points onto the autograph journey and then transfer out to some really good partners, I think that that'd be a game changer. And I would pay $95 for that and, maybe build a bit of a Wells Fargo setup. I think I'm pessimistic a lot on like the card changes as well as like what new cards are coming because we always get so hyped up for them, but they always disappoint. Like I don't think at least in my time of doing the credit card game, I've never seen a card come out that we're like, oh my God, this is awesome. Like we had like the Bevy and Bountiful cards or whatever. Those were trash. The City cards have still never come out, even though they talked about those forever. Wells Fargo never bring out the cards that they say they're going to. Chase has not changed their cards in a long time. They're still like this exact same. Amex is just devaluing all their cards. So lately it's not been good for us. So I'm not trying to get my hopes up, but hopefully they do make it really good and we can all get it. This is, I assume, about the Journey card. I'm wrong on it. It's better multipliers, I've been told. Well, I don't know how much better they could be. I'd have to watch your video again on that map. But honestly, like I'm getting to the point where earning categories are not what I get cards for. Like I have 12 cards right now and I have all of my earning categories covered. So it's mainly for the extra benefits. And the only benefit I would really care about with the Journey would be transferring out to good partners. Granted, you have to spend on the card to then transfer out to partners. So I guess you would care about the earning categories, but they're not like my main pool to a card. I can answer this one real quick, David. Hot take for new beginners. Is it worth it to get Chase? There's a lot of overlapping categories between Saber One, Venture X, and custom cash with City. Yeah, so here's the thing. Yeah, you could go this route. You definitely could. You could get the Capital One Duo. As we've been talking about, I'm not certain that the Capital One Duo is going to remain as strong as it is right now. I do think the Venture X is going to decrease their power. And then if they did, then you'd kind of be screwed on that side. You'd only have a cashback card really with Capital One. And if you're not on just Team Cashback, then that doesn't really help you a ton. But then again, you can maybe still transfer out with the Venture X later, but that's an expensive annual fee. Either way, yeah, you could do that right now. That's a great setup. And then the Citi custom cash with Citi is good, but you have no way to get those out to partners if you just have the custom cash. So the thing with the Chase setup is it's very easy to recommend that for people at the very beginning of their journey because they might not know if they want to be cashback or travel yet. That's a big reason that I really like Chase because it gives you that flexibility. Yes, they have overlapping categories, but the categories that do overlap are at least pretty good. They lack the gas and groceries, but the beautiful thing about the Chase cards is that a lot of times throughout the year, they have an extra part of their bonus on the Freedom cards, giving you 5% on gas and or groceries. So you have that covered for a year while you decide if you want to go cashback or travel. And in the meantime, while you figure that out, you can then decide if you want to add the Chase Sapphire Preferred to your setup or move on to different lenders. And then if you did get the preferred and end up wanting to downgrade, you can do that to a free card and you don't have to worry about it. So like Chase is just like the easiest, I don't know what the right way to put it is. I always say it's like the best beginner to intermediate card setup. And I do believe that, but in a different way to put it, I think it's just like the easiest for anybody to get started with and feel good about their decision. I would hate for you to get started with the Sabre 1 and then be like, well, I don't really want to travel, or get started with the Sabre 1 and Venture X and then, not really have a great downgrade path with the Venture X for a cashback card. Like it could just get messy. So I think sticking with that one ecosystem is kind of why I like Chase so much. New to the credit card game, I've had the Discover for about 1.5 years and got the Built card in January. Nice. Should I move to the Freedom cards next? Well, I guess my answer to the past question just maybe helped you out. I think that if you do want to build out like a strong Chase setup, it's best to do that early on. You don't have to get a Chase trifecta. You could get the Chase Freedom Unlimited. It sounds like you don't have a catch-all card, so that would help you a lot. And then the Chase Sapphire Preferred to get those points out to partners. The Chase partners, at least with Hyatt and a few others, are overlapping with the Built card. So then you have basically earning in the same points currency, which is huge, and they work really well together. So I do think that it would complement your setup really well. But whether or not you actually want to go that route is obviously completely up to you. The adrenaline pickle. First question, how do you feel about people going all in on 1 to 2 points ecosystems, airlines, and or hotel brands versus trying to split their spending and rewards across as many ecosystems and brands as possible? I think that's actually a very smart move to go all in on 1 or 2 point ecosystems. Obviously, for my personal setup, I am good with splitting all of that stuff. But when it comes to spend, I do think that spend should probably be focused on just a couple, because once you start spreading that out too far across cards or across ecosystems, unless they have mutual transfer partners, like for example, Air France is like a transfer partner of all of them. So if you use that a lot, it didn't matter what card you used, but it can get very hard to like ever accumulate enough points for a good redemption if you're splitting across multiple lenders. For me, I'm applying for so many cards with different bonuses that it doesn't make a difference. And like I said earlier, you're going to get most of your points on a card from the bonus and not from your spend. So if you're going for a bonus with each lender, like I think that's still an optimal approach to where you could still transfer them out or whatever, or use them however you want to. But as for spending, I do think it's kind of important to focus on just a couple. And for me right now, that's mainly honestly like Chase and Built. I kind of spread them out honestly, but that's because I'm always going for bonuses and stuff. So, but yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea at all, especially on the hotel and airline side. I think you should focus on like one hotel or one airline because if not, yeah, you can't really get status with hotels unless you pick loyalty to one. So same with airlines. But you also asked, in a similar vein, you get 2 hotel brands for the rest of your life. What 2 are you picking? I'm at an early point in the credit card game and I'm trying to plan for the future, especially when it comes to picking hotel brands. Smart bet seems to be Hyatt and Marriott or Hilton. So I kind of answered this question earlier based on my very first answer to Stan's question. And for me, it would be the exact thing you mentioned. It would be Hyatt and Marriott for me. I think that Hyatt is awesome for the transferability, but I don't think I would ever seek Hyatt status because I don't think I would ever stay enough nights for that. With Marriott though, you can fast track your way to status by either getting the cards with them or by actually staying, or a combination of both, which is different than Hyatt. You really have to stay a lot with Hyatt to get the status, which I think is a good thing. It makes it more exclusive, but still. But yeah, and then you can also get a bunch of free nights on the Marriott side with their cards like we talked about earlier. So I think, and they have the largest footprint in the world with hotels. So I feel like Marriott's the logical choice for me. Hilton's also great, but like I said, I feel like their status is not as powerful because they have the easiest access to like the highest status through credit cards, which means that anybody can have that status, which makes it more watered down. So I wouldn't personally go with Hilton, but I know people that really love them. I'd probably go with the Marriott and Hyatt route personally. John, you asked the best credit card point redemption I've made. As for cent per point value, it'd be that one to Croatia, at least the one leg of it where I got like 3.74. I think that's my highest so far. But probably the one that's given me the most value like over time has been my redemption I did for the MacBook Pro. People hate that redemption, some people, but I love it. And no, I use the MacBook Pro for everything. Like it's my work computer, and I redeemed a ton of Chase points for it. I wouldn't recommend you do that, but it worked for me. And that's probably my favorite redemption I made. at least return on spend wise, or return on investment, whatever, return on points. But the cent per point value, the highest one was with Air France. So you were asking, you have the Blue Cash every day, been offered an upgrade to the Blue Cash Preferred with an upgrade offer of $150 statement credit after spending $1,000. Do you think it's worth it? That's a 15% return on spend. Blue Cash Preferred, 300 back for spending 3,000 in 6 months. That's a 10% return on spend. So if you're okay with sacrificing $150, that's also a special offer. But if you're okay with sacrificing $150, then technically your return on spend is higher, but it's kind of up to you. Krish, I see you've asked this question a few times, so I can try to address it real quick. What is the best 6 credit card setup? My setup's the Freedom Flex, Sapphire Preferred, World of Hyatt, Venture X, Amex Gold, and Built. That's honestly very similar to what I would probably at least close to build out. I don't think I could ever say that there is a best 6 credit card setup, despite what YouTube titles say. We do obviously like this video, like the best hotel credit cards, like that is the best for me, or I'm going to give you a bunch of options, because if I was to sit here and tell you that this one credit card is the best for you, I can't do that because I don't know your situation. But yours is very similar to what I would do. I probably would have swapped out the Freedom Flex for the Freedom Unlimited, unless you're using the you have the Venture X. So yeah, Freedom Flex, Sapphire Preferred works really well with Chase. You can transfer out to Hyatt or whoever. You have the World of Hyatt card, so that stacks on that. The Built card also transfers to Hyatt, so that's great. Venture X transfers out to anybody, gives you the airport lounge access. That's great. Amex Gold also transfers out to anybody, and you're earning a ton on food. The problem would be if you're splitting your spend too much, maybe that could become an issue, but it sounds like that's not an issue for you, at least right now. And you're mainly earning transferable currencies like within kind of the Chase ecosystem, which I think is a good idea. What's your thoughts on the Hyatt and IHG combo? Yeah, IHG can be really, really, really great for specific people, like you're mentioning here. If they have a lot of coverage in Asia and you can get a great redemption rate like all the time for those bookings, then there's no reason to not go for it. Don't just because we don't always talk about IHG. I'm only going to really talk about cards positively if I've used them and they make sense. Obviously, I can do reviews on them, like I'm saying here. The IHG cards are good. I just have never gotten experience with them. But I know the people that have, through my comments and the data points I've collected, really, really love them. At the IHG Premier card especially. So I think it's worth. At some point, I will probably apply for the Amex Platinum. Actually, I definitely will, but I'll probably go with the Charles Schwab version just so I can have access to cash back if I want to with my Amex points. But it's not on my immediate roadmap. I got a lot of other cards I want. What are your thoughts on rotating cards influencing spend, which may not actually be a good thing? Yeah, I mean, they're kind of smart for it because obviously if you're getting 5x back on PayPal for 3 months or whatever, and you have been waiting on, not even waiting, but say there's stuff that you've been wanting in the back of your mind, but you haven't applied for, or you haven't bought it yet because you didn't actually need it. And then you see this 5x back on PayPal and you're like, oh, that $1,000, whatever I wanted, I can get 5x back on that right now. So I might as well go and get it. Yeah, that's a dangerous, slippery slope, which at the end of the day, the banks are profiting from the most, not only from the transaction fee, but also if you actually can't afford it and you pay interest to them, that's how they get you. So you just have to be really smart. That's at the end of the day, you shouldn't be playing the credit card game if you can't be smart with your cards and be responsible. I do think that they're dangerous in general, unless you pay them off on time and in full every month and have a plan for them. Yeah, John, I know where you're coming from. It's so tough. This is a good conversation topic because obviously I'm a person that has literally put that title in my videos before. The title for this live stream is the best hotel credit card setup. Yeah, so this is exactly what you're talking about. It's 100% situational every single time. And that is why in my videos, unfortunately, the way YouTube works, I can't sit here and say the best hotel credit card setup for somebody that is age 23 that lives in Austin, Texas. I can't say that for a title. So you kind of have to make it clickable. And then once you get in there, I hope that you see that I'm giving you options. And I'm not saying this is the right setup for you. This is what works for me, or these are all of the best hotel credit cards. This is why you should choose this based on your personal situation. That's what I try to do, but we do have to title them a certain way, and it kind of is what it is. Just got the Freedom Flex and thinking of getting the Unlimited, just don't know when. I usually wait 3 months between applications. With those 2 cards in particular, unless you really need the Freedom Unlimited soon, you could wait until you could really wait a long time until your 5% back on gas and groceries or whatever was up and you wanted to re-up that, because if not, those are just going to be overlapping if you add them within the same year. But that's a long time to wait. So if you just want both cards, then I would probably wait. I usually wait 3 months between applications whenever I'm on a normal pace, just to give your score time to rise back up above what it was before the hard inquiry and stuff. But that's just me. There's no hard set number, I guess. From SJG, one of my longtime commenters, been here for a long time, really since the beginning of my channel, I feel like. You asked which transfer partner has brought you the most value from your points. I bet it's Hyatt. Most consistent value is going to be handed to Hyatt. Hyatt is the easiest partner that I've ever used to get value from. I can book a hotel stay for tomorrow and probably get 2 cents per point. Dude, I did one for my mom for the Dallas Cowboys and Detroit Lions game. I think it was literally like a 10 cent per point redemption. It was something insane. Like the cash price was just like inflated like crazy. It might have been like 5 or 10, it was something like that. But it was within like a week of her going, just a normal Hyatt hotel, got like 10 cents per point or something wild. And I was like, okay, this is why Hyatt is so loved. So most consistent value, easiest value is definitely Hyatt. The highest, again, I've mentioned this a couple times, the highest cent per point that I've gotten with my points would be that business class flight to Croatia, which was like 3.74. That was with Air France. I think the international airline partners, especially booking in business or first class, is where you're going to get the most value. And that could be any partner. Like Air France, Air Canada is a great one. Yeah, there's ways to use a lot of them in different ways to get high cent per point values, but hotel-wise, Hyatt's definitely the way to go. Floppy asked, how did you become so knowledgeable about credit cards, credit scores, etc.? Did you learn any of it in school? That's a great question to be asking somebody that makes YouTube videos like this, because the way that I learned about this stuff is honestly from YouTube. Like I've kind of self-taught everything. YouTube, podcasts. I've never done any like online courses or anything like that for this type of stuff, but books. I read a lot of personal finance books. I've watched so much. Like I grew up, in college, I guess, especially, maybe not grew up's the right word, but in college, I got super, super heavy into just general personal finance content on YouTube. Also like self-development, like that kind of stuff. I went really heavy down that niche. That's when I found like Ben Hedges, Ask Sebi, everybody, and just really dove in. Found all the like nitty gritty stuff too when it comes to like cashback credit cards with RJ. I started watching Luke's content when he started making content as well. Like I've been watching a lot of these guys that I get to talk to on a daily basis now. And that's how I've learned the majority of my stuff. Also spending time like in Discords and in reading through like Reddit posts and stuff like that about credit cards. I don't know. I think like as somebody with an engineering brain, like mathematical thinking brain like myself, there's something really, really fun about credit cards, like optimizing your setups, optimizing your strategies, making sure you get the highest cent per point, like all that kind of stuff is like really fun for us. So I kind of just like dove in head first, but it is all self-taught, I guess, is really the short answer to this. I'm sure a lot of y'all are the same. Maybe y'all can throw in your thoughts on this, but yeah, I think like the credit card content or the credit card knowledge and credit score knowledge and all that stuff that I've gained has been through piecing together information from different mediums, that being YouTube, blogs, books, podcasts, and just forming my own opinions on it based on getting actual experience. I think experience really has taught me the most, honestly, but I like to make my decisions based on a lot of information, which is why the credit card content in general has been such a big help for me, and why I like to post it too, because I'm already doing the research, so I might as well share it with y'all as well. Thoughts on going X Games mode with the ink cards by getting all 3 as a sole prop and then opening an EIN and getting all 3 again? I mean, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. And I guess there is a chance that I could do that. I'm working through it currently, I guess. But I was going to say, I don't have enough spend for that. I probably could, though. But yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that, I don't think. As long as you have the spend for, as long as you can justify the cards, as long as you're not like manufactured spending to hit them. Like, yeah, that's kind of what the beauty of those cards are, is that you can apply under different businesses. So yeah, you could technically have like Chase Ink cards and just have so many great bonuses. Eventually, Chase will probably limit you on the number that you can get just based on overall credit that they've not only extended to you, but your businesses as well. So you got to be somewhat careful with it. But considering they only give me $3,000 limits on their ink cards, you probably got a while to go before that. Oh, Matt saying, oh, I need to set up an EIN. Yeah. Eventually, like, I guess for most people, getting 3 ink cards is not that hard. So why not get them again with an EIN? Considering this is a long-term game too, I should think about it like that. Not like you're going to get these all within a year. It's a long-term game. So over the course of 5 years, yeah, that would be not that hard to do. That's like an ink card every year. So yeah. Inky Kim, how do you think about cherry picking airline credit cards? United Explorer card seems to be ideal target for that. Cherry picking airline credit cards. I think that if you mean by cherry picking, like going for cards for their bonuses and stuff like that when they're elevated, I assume that's what you mean. I think that it's well worth doing that. Like I was thinking about doing that with the American Airlines business card, just because I use their points. But I think a lot of cards make sense for the bonus. So keeping them open for a year makes sense. You just got to be careful with lenders' rules, especially like Amex, where if you're opening a bunch of Amex cards just for the bonus and then canceling them after a year, you're going to get stuck in pop-up jail. So you got to be somewhat careful. But if a bonus makes sense for you, there's not really a reason to not get it. Oh, you confirmed here. Open one and cancel right after a year. Yeah, you're going to get yourself in trouble at some point with that, probably. That's how most like actual credit card churners get in trouble, is because they're canceling so many cards. But not every lender is as sensitive to it. Amex is definitely one of those, though. United Business seems interesting to me. 100K bonus, might as well do it while under 524 and then cancel after the first year. Yeah, that business card, I actually have looked at that business card before, even though I think I've flown United once. But I'm always looking for more business cards to get. That's actually a good point. Going back to your question, if they are business credit cards, you're in canceling them, you're not really impacting your personal report at all because they shouldn't be reporting to your personal report. So you can be a little more aggressive with those, but still with Amex, if you're canceling business cards, they'll still throw you in pop-up jail. So the business cards even make more sense to open and close after a year because there's not impacting your personal report. Matt Clausen, with the United business card, just grab the gateway and the business half pays for itself. 5,000 points every year when you have the business and a personal card. Oh yeah, that's true. Yep, I forgot about that. Yeah, see, United has an interesting like system going on there. So Matt's the man, dude. Matt Clausen's got all the info. Joseph, getting a card for an upcoming $5,000 purchase. Should I buy with built card for the 5X intro for 25,000 points or apply for a new card with a normal sub? $5,000. So because $5,000 could get you like 100,000 points with another company. If you're saying that you can already hit normal subs with your normal spend, then that makes it a little bit more difficult of a decision. But technically, if you're playing by the books, the most amount of points is going to come from going for a higher bonus than 25,000 points. 25,000 build points is awesome. But in reality, yeah, that's a lot of spend to be sacrificing for that. However, if you have plans for those build points and you really like need more, or you're chasing status with builds and stuff like that, then I think it makes sense to do that. I didn't capitalize at all on the 5X intro period because again, the math like doesn't always work out. Or it doesn't really work out for it like kind of ever compared to a different sub. Like that's why I got the built card and the Chasing Unlimited at the same time. I put 6,000 towards the Chasing Unlimited, got 90,000 points. $6,000 on the built card would have been 30,000 points. Thank you for taking time to answer my question or comment. I took your advice and got a 50,000 point welcome offer on the Blue Business Plus. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I assume that 50,000 was for like the 15 or 50,000 was for $15,000 worth of spend in 12 months or something like that. What does that offer? But yeah, I went with like the 15,000 points for $3,000 worth of spend, something like that. But you definitely got the more points than me, so that's pretty awesome. But is that your first business card maybe? Because that's pretty cool. So that was my first one and I was stoked about getting it. Leah Trim, what is your experience with Capital One Venture X and what do you think about their customer service? Well, my experience with Capital One Venture X, that's funny you ask. That's literally my video that's coming out. Customer service wise though, I didn't talk as much about that in the video, so I can cover that here. Their customer service with the Venture X is great. I booked a non-refundable room through the portal with my travel credit, but I needed to get refunded. Like I had to cancel that booking. So I went through with the process and they actually refunded me all of the travel credit and all of the points that I used for the booking for a non-refundable room. And they were like very responsive. They called, they were on the phone with me the whole time. Like it was actually a really good experience. I've never experienced Capital One's customer service outside of the Venture X though. And I hear that it's pretty horrible outside of that card. So I think the vast majority of the time they're not good, but with me, they've been all right. Hey, are there any places to kind of predict credit card heightened welcome bonuses or just have to be on the lookout for them? There is actually a really good way. I'm going to see if I can share my screen here. So what we're looking at, oh yeah, US credit card guide. Like I did this for the Wyndham Earners business when I was considering applying for that card. So yeah, you can go to US credit card guide and they have graphs of each of their cards that show you like when the bonuses were elevated in recent past. So I do this for any card that I'm like thinking about applying for. So yeah, first of all, they tell you about like the updates of when these cards like had elevated ones and when they drop off. So that's one way to do it. But they also have this graph down here, which it took me a while to figure out how to read. Let me see if I can zoom in. But basically what it does here is it shows you the amount of points that you can get for the card on this side or on this line, and the spending requirement on the yellow line. So as you can see, the elevated bonus, the biggest one was in September or maybe like August or whatever, July of 2021. And that was for 90,000 points, right in between the 100 and 80,000. And that was for a spending requirement of, I presume, $2,000. Pretty great welcome offer. But then you can see like right now as of 2023, they've raised the spending requirement to, does that say 10,000 for 75,000 points? Is that really serious? Sorry, this is kind of, yeah, what the, oh, in 12 months, I guess that helps. But yeah, so this is where I go. That's probably the most optimal way that I've found to do it. Do I listen to frequent miler? No, actually I don't. It's kind of crazy. Like my consumption for credit card content has gone down a lot. And I think that's because my output of it has gone up so much, like funny enough. But like so much of my time is already spent researching credit cards and stuff to where most of any, like when it comes to anything related, even like frequent miler, for example, I only go to those sites whenever I need to do research for a specific video. So I browse it less than I used to, but it's a very good resource. So I can't imagine that it's a bad thing to listen to them. Leo Trim, I remember you asked this earlier, so I'm glad that you asked it again because I wanted to get to it. What do you think about my setup? Amex Platinum, Blue Business Plus, Chase Sapphire Preferred, Freedom Flex, Aeroplan Card, Marriott Bonvoy will upgrade to the Ritz. I like it. It sounds like you're going pretty heavy into the Chase ecosystem, including the airline cards and hotel cards, which I think is a fine plan. You keep it all in one place and you probably like it a lot. You have the Preferred, so you can transfer out your Chase Flex, Freedom Flex points as well. Aeroplan, that sign-up bonus is worth getting that card alone for, usually. Bonvoy to the Ritz, yeah, I think that's well worth it if you stay at Marriott's a lot. The Amex Platinum and Blue Business Plus play well off of each other. The Blue Business Plus will be a store of your Amex points, even if you cancel the Platinum card, and it's free, which is huge. So I'm glad that you have that one in there. And the Platinum is one that I don't personally have. I feel like you got to travel a ton to really make that card worth it, but it's very powerful and you can always cancel it now because you have the Blue Business Plus keeping your points alive. Nelson said, I have the Amex Platinum and Chase Sapphire Reserve. I'm thinking about a hotel card. Which one do you recommend? That's, again, kind of hard for me to just like recommend a single card for you because I don't know. I can't like speak to your personal situation and goals. If you want the highest status for the cheapest price out of the hotel cards, then you'd want to go with the Hilton Aspire. It's probably still the most power-packed hotel card out there. But as I've said multiple times here, I don't value Hilton's status as highly as I do the other statuses. So it doesn't appeal to me as much as some of the other high-tier cards. If you want to get started, like if you like Marriott a lot, I would say the Boundless card is a great one to start with, especially because you already have a Chase card, so it's still within that ecosystem. If you really like Hilton, then I probably wouldn't go straight for the Aspire though, because like we were talking about again earlier, I think they will add the family language to it, where if you got the Hilton Aspire, you wouldn't be eligible for the Surpass or Honors card bonuses, and that would be pretty detrimental if you're going for points. But you could also go for the Marriott Bonvoy Brilliant if you wanted to skip the whole Marriott Bonvoy Boundless to the Ritz-Carlton. The World of Hyatt card is solid, but it's not one that you already have the reserve, so you have access to Hyatt, so it's not a mandatory. If you liked IHG a lot, it really comes down to like who you like the most, and then we could talk about what cards specifically. It kind of, yeah, it just depends on all of your tolerances for, or not tolerances, but what hotels you like the most, because at the end of the day, you can get a hotel card that's really good, but if it's not with a hotel that you stay at a lot, then it's kind of pointless, you know? Zach said, all I currently have is an old Quicksilver and a CSP. I don't travel a ton, but would like the free couple nights every year. Should I do the trifecta plus Amex Gold? What about the airline and hotel cards? It depends on what, again, so when it comes to airline and hotel cards, I would only get airline and hotel cards if you are loyal to a specific airline or hotel. It sounds not counterintuitive, but it sounds simple. But a lot of times we forget that. We get like kind of caught in the glitz and glam of like these really great looking cards on the surface. But if you don't stay at that hotel, then it doesn't matter. If you don't fly with that airline, it doesn't matter if you have their best credit card. So as for you have a Quicksilver and a CSP. You could build out your Chase setup a little bit more. Like if you really like the 5X rotating category idea, you get a Flex and a CSP. That gives you a lot more points for Hyatt properties, especially if you added one of the freedoms right now with that 5X back on gas and groceries. Like you could use that card for everything, you know, this year basically. And you could get a ton of Chase points, use those with Hyatt, see if you like them. That's one option. The Amex Gold is a great addition. It's just going to become your food card. So if you went with a Freedom card right now, I would not get the Amex Gold because then that groceries and dining is already covered on the Freedom cards for the first year, especially. The Amex Gold is really only worth it if you want to use your points for travel and also will use the credits on it. If you can't knock down the effective annual fee to at least like a manageable number, don't get it. It's an interesting thought, Michael. Michael's got some good ideas, man. I think I recommend product changing the Quicksilver to the Saver 1, adding a Venture X, and then probably the Freedom Unlimited. So yeah, that's basically what at least the Freedom side of things, that's kind of what I was getting at. Like I think adding one of the Freedom cards is probably a good move. You could also, do the Saver 1 and Venture X route if you wanted to. Depends on how much you want to travel. That's not going to help you with free nights. I will say that. The Venture X is not going to transfer to any hotel at a great rate, or like any hotels that most people stay at. Like they only have Wyndham and Choice, but with Choice, they only have a 1-to-1 transfer. With City, you get a 1-to-2 transfer with Choice. So it's half as good with Capital One, but it just depends again on your goals. That's a good option though. Thank you guys so much for watching this live stream, this video. If you did enjoy, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. And with that being said, Odin and I are going to catch you guys next time. Y'all have a good night, and thanks again for watching. Talk to y'all later.